Now that we are here, we see cities that are emptied out. People are on a breaking point in their life because they have been devastated by what is happening in the land. People are overwhelmed. Oh yeah, many in the world are overwhelmed. The jobless rate has come to 30 million Americans having applied for unemployment benefits. There's sickness in the United States. Over 1 million have been infected with COVID-19 and over 65,000 deaths. And they say that they're still counting. The stock market has spiraled and taken a nosedive. Devastation and death is consuming the land. And you might say, well, why are you bringing me all of these dooms? Because I want to ask the question on tonight. Now that we are here, what are we going to do? You see, in the midst of this pandemic, what are we going to do about it? The Chinese word for crisis means both danger and opportunity. We're dealing with two spectrums of the word. We're dealing with two spectrums depending on what we are perceiving from our present situation and what we're looking at, what is to come. And so we can perpetually live in danger or the possibility of something unpleasant happening to us, or we can choose to live in opportunity. I don't know about you, but I choose to live in opportunity. The choice is ours to make. You see, some will see danger only and no opportunity. And so as I was stating before, the joblessness, the sickness, and the death, and all of those things that can be overwhelming, some people have just centered in on the danger of life, and the danger is what is happening. But I'm here to challenge you on tonight. There is an opportunity in the midst of every dangerous place and moment that we're living in. We have to understand and be aware of danger. Yes, we have to be aware of danger. We must not lose sight of opportunity. See, we cannot just spend 24/24 just focusing in on all of the bad things that are happening, but in the midst of what is happening, there is a window of opportunity. And if we're so concerned with danger that we will miss the window of opportunity to advance into a new career, a new startup business, an investment opportunity. And so many have just said, well, I'm going to come in and go out and I'm going to live the same way. No, we are in the midst of a dynamic change in the earth. And although all of these bad things are happening and all of these bad news reports that we're getting, I want you to understand that there is opportunity in the midst of this pandemic. You see, opportunities require that we're looking beyond a snapshot of our today. You got to be able to broaden your vision and your horizon beyond what the day has brought. And you got to be able to look at that there is potential in this. There's potential in this for me to advance. There's potential in this for me to move forward. We cannot afford to allow conditions that we're living in to dictate our success. I know that many people are saying, well, the economy is not looking like anything and I can't afford to do anything. I want you to understand that the economy does not have to be booming for you to be blessed. I'll say that again. The economy does not have to be booming for you to be blessed. In Deuteronomy 8:18 in the King James Version, it says, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee the power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. So our wealth does not depend on our economy. He says, I'm the one that gives you the ideas. I'm the one that download in you the wisdom and how to move forward and how to gain the wealth of the world. I'm the one that's causing, I'm the one breathing on you and causing success to come your way. Many times as I was being challenged with this word, then I began to think that we as people of color are looked upon as being consumers. And so we find that all over the land, all of the states, they're opening up all of the things that people of color usually like to enjoy. You see, the tattoo shops are opening up, the barber shops, the nail salons, we can go on and on, the movie theaters, and all of those things that that will cause a consuming of what they're saying that we already don't have. And so I want to bring to your attention that there is a better way and there is a better plan. You see, they are depending on us spending every penny to only end up in the same position, to only end up in the same deadbeat place, investing things that have no lasting value. But many might say, you know what, I'm just surviving. I don't have any money to do anything different with. But this is the cycle that they depend on many to live in. They want for you to depend on the cycle that you don't have any extra money. But I challenge you, how many times have you spent money frivolously that you could have invested in? Listen, those that brought stock during the Great Depression became richer later. See, there's opportunities in what we're going through. There's opportunities in this pandemic. Everything is low. The cost of everything is low. Stock is low. They've lowered the rates on housing. There are so many opportunities that we have in this time if we will take advantage of it. They're easing even the credit rating. They're lifting opportunities for those that understand and know that I'm not just living in danger, but I'm also living in a place of opportunity also. This is the word of the Lord that God gave me. He says, out of this pandemic, God is going to raise up some new millionaires. I don't know about you, but I said, I'm one of those people. If you will put, he said, if you will put in sweat equity. In other words, if you will consume your time with advancing what it is that I've given you, that you would take the time to labor in it. He also said, don't be so distracted about what the rich are doing that you miss your opportunity to be counted among them. He says, watch and learn. God wants to give us wealth to establish his covenant. There is always an opportunity, people of God, for us to get wealth. In Genesis 26:12 through 15, I believe, might be 12 through 13, in the Amplified Bible Classic edition, it says, then Isaac sowed seed in that land and received in the same year 100 times as much as he had planted. And the Lord favored him with blessings. 13, and the man became great and gained more and more until he became very wealthy and distinguished. Here we find Isaac that he is in a time of famine, and that the famine is coming. And when you begin to read upward, then it begins to say, upward in the scriptures, it says that, it begins to say that there was a famine in the land. And that he was getting ready to go up to Egypt because that's what his father had done. He went up to Egypt, and God says, no, I don't want you to go up there. I want you to stay where you're at because I'm getting ready to show you that I'm going to prosper you in a barren place. I'm going to prosper you when everything looks empty. I'm going to prosper you when nothing is going on. And so the Bible goes on to begin to tell us that God began to prosper him. Now it says that he sowed seed in a land and received in the same year 100 times as much as he had planted. We have to ask ourselves the question, well, the Bible doesn't make reference to how the crops grew during this famine, how it grew during this barren place. And so we have to begin to go get account as to what was happening in that time. How could he be farming and bringing forth such an abundance in a place where there was no water exchange, in a place where everything was dry and everything was empty? Don't it remind you of where we're at right now, that everything is dry and everything is empty, seemingly. But remember, God says that it is me that giveth you the power to get wealth. In other words, he says, I'm the one that's going to show you and navigate you how to bring increase when there is no increase. And you see, this is what he showed Isaac. He says, I want you now to plant here. I want you to temporarily put up your residence here. I want you to temporarily sit back and watch what I'm getting ready to do. In Genesis 26 and 18 through 19, it says, and Isaac digged again the wells of water. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley and found that there is a well of springing water. And when you know the story, you know that as he found water in the wells, then the enemy was jealous of him and began to to clog up the wells. But that's not what I want to teach you on tonight. I want you to teach on how God gave him an innovative idea how to cause crop to grow in a place where there was no water. That there was no rain, no water from above. The rivers were dry. Nothing was available to really feed water into this crop and cause it to grow. Yet God said that it multiplied. He multiplied him 100 times more than what he started off with. And so I believe that when Abraham went down to Egypt, because see, God allowed Abraham to go to Egypt. He told him in the time of famine that you should go down to Egypt. And I believe that in that place that he began to observe, see, God does not send us to any place that is not significant to what he is calling us to do. So I believe that in that time where Abraham was in the famine and he was down in Egypt, and he saw how Egypt was prospering, because Egypt was representing the world, was not in a famine. And here we find that he began to see their water system. You see, they were masters in water irrigation. And so I believe that he began to glean from what they had. But when he got back to Canaan, that there was no rivers, there were no Niles that he could begin to produce that from. But I believe that Isaac, as he began to plant, and God told him to stay there, that he got a rhema about just getting the word. But God says, in this season, I'm going to give you a rhema. In other words, I'm going to give you something that applies to your everyday living. I'm going to make the word really come alive. I'm going to make the word burst forth. I'm going to make the word be so applicable to you that you might understand and know the directions in which I am calling you into. So I believe that he got the idea. There must be water available from below, because there is no rivers and there's no rain. And so I'm going to take a chance that there might be water below. And his servants began to dig. They said wells, and he found springing water coming up, and he built wells in a barren place. In other words, he was introduced to a new technology. See, we are being introduced to a new technology. Something that many of us have no idea about. Some have never experienced. But God is saying that in this hour, if you would not be afraid to venture off into something new. You see, that the new technology was new to the land that he was in. Nobody had ever did that before. And what am I saying? That God said, I'll give you things that nobody ever did before. He says, I will show you great and mighty things that you know not of. He irrigated his crop from a well water. In other words, God gave him an idea. God gave him a strategy. God gave him what it was that how he should do it in order to advance in a place that it looked like nothing was growing. Proverbs 8 and 12 tells us, wisdom dwells with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. Because of the one idea from God, not only did Isaac have plenty of food for his household, but an abundance left over to sell to the Philistines. His prosperity began to increase rapidly, not now as the wealth of the Philistines was transferred from them to him. Listen, people of God, God is doing a transference of wealth in a time where there's famine, in a time where it's empty, in a time where people are standing in lines and food lines and unemployment lines and every kind of line that you can imagine. But I want you to know that there is riches still in the land. And he's going to give those that have an ear to hear what the Spirit of the Lord would say, a download as to how they can prosper in a time when it looks like nothing is prospering. I want you to not just be so inundated with all of the pain of life and all of the pain of what's happening in the world, but I want you to begin to get a glimpse of what it is that God has told you. Because he tells us, he says, you are my workmanship, created by me. In other words, I created you for good works. In other words, he says, I created you for such a time as this. You could have been born at any other time, but you are here right now in this place during this pandemic for such a time as this. First, spiritually, to begin to build those that are lost and hopeless, and allow God to give you an encouraging word, send an encouraging word across the TV, send an encouraging word in a text. God is saying that there's opportunities available for you. There are opportunities that's going to elevate your ministry in a way that it would never have been elevated before, because you have never been this place before. You have never had to do what it is that you're doing. You have never had to put in the sweat and the equity for some to get where we are today. But God said that if you would just stand tall and that you would stand strong, He said that I will give you the stamina and I will give you the strength to be able to stand through all that's going on, because now that you are here, we got to do something about now that we're here. The leper said, should we just sit here and die? In other words, they said, should we stay in the same position and just wither away? And I'm not talking about not doing the mandates of shelter in place or being disobedient to the laws of the land. That's not what I'm talking about, because there are so many things that are at ground level that you can do even before you attempt to go outside these doors. What is God doing? He says, I'm building you up now that you're on the inside. In this shelter place moment, for those of you that will stay in and not get anxious. You see, what is going on in the earth today is that people are anxious. They're being moved by their emotions. They're being moved by the fact that I've been in here too long, and how long is too how long. But God is saying that now that you're here, take advantage of what I've given you. Take advantage of the time that you have. Take advantage of the time that you're not busy running here and there and everywhere. Take advantage. Sit down and at my feet and begin to allow me to download in you how you can obtain a wealthy place in a place where nothing is going on, where nothing looks like it's prospering. Tune your ears to what the Spirit of the Lord is saying in this hour, and know that I am building you for wealth. I am building you for increase. And wealth is not necessarily all money. Wealth and health, and wealth in our families, and wealth in our minds. God said that this is a time that now that you're in here, you can't get out of this pandemic. It's nowhere that you can run to. It's not a state that you can run to, not a country that you can run to. He says, I put everything on lockdown. Now that you are here, what are you going to do about it? Will you just sit and wither? Will you just sit and eat up all of your time? What are we going to do? I believe that we're at our greatest moment, and the church is at the greatest moment of revival, because God has said that I am equipping my people in closed doors. He said many have been so accustomed to having large platforms, and now everybody is on the same level playing. Everybody is trying to get the attention of God's people. He says that I put you there for such a time as this. And so, Father, on tonight, we thank you, we magnify you. And we give you glory, God, and we give you honor, and we give you praise. Father, that you placed us in our set place, in our set moment, God, that you're stirring a new fire on the inside of us, God. And we realize, Lord God, that we're not at a place, Lord God, of being on the outside looking in. But God, you've given us a glimpse of what you want to do in this hour. You've given us a glimpse of what our opportunities are. And so, Father, help us to be prudent, oh God, in what we do with our finances, what we do with our time. What we do with every moment, oh God, that you've given us. Let us not just plunder our days away without any constructive things happening in the day. But Lord God, let us set ourselves, Father, oh God, and begin, oh God, to accumulate all that you've given us, and ask you, well, how can I bring this into a place of strength? How can I bring this into a place of prosperity? How can I bring this into a place of knowledge and understanding? How can I be a helper to those that don't have help? How can I be an encourager? Oh God, in this hour, God, I thank you, Lord God, and magnify you, Lord God, that we realize that our lives are relevant, oh God, to you, Lord God, that nothing happens without chance, and that you called us, oh God, into such a time as this, oh God, that we might dispense, oh God, what you've given us into the land. We understand that everything that we're obtaining, oh God, is not just for us to hold on to it selfishly, but Lord God, that you are causing us, Lord God, to mount up, oh God, with abundance and strength, oh God, and all that you have called us to, Father, that we might be distributors in this hour. And so, Father, we will not be distracted by what is going on. We will not be distracted. Yes, we will be concerned, but not distracted. Yes, we might cry, but we won't be distracted. We will wipe our tears and we will rise up again. We might feel tired, but we will get up and ask for the strength of God to begin to engulf us once again, that we might move forward, that we might be a force in the earth. Because, God, we realize that although all of this is happening and in His flesh, things that are happening, we know that the undercurrent to that is spiritual wickedness in high places. And so, Father, we need our ears bent to heaven so we will have a strategy how to conquer that which is trying to conquer the world. God, I thank you and magnify you, Lord God, for the right researchers, oh God, and the right scientists to come forth. Not those, oh God, that are just trying to gain filthy lucre, but God, I thank you, Father. Grab somebody out for the back burner, God, that you've been dealing with, Lord God, that have the skill and the ability, but have not had the opportunity, Lord God, to bring it forth. Father, breathe on them, God, and cause them, Lord God, to come forth, oh God. Bring them to the front, Lord God, that are in the back. Lord God, that your glory, Lord God, will begin to shine, and that they, oh God, will be an instrument, oh God, of this new, oh God, this new normal, this new thing that you're giving and that you're doing. So, Father, we thank you that we will not draw back. We will not draw back. But, God, we know that we are at our finest hour. We know, oh God, that you called us for such a time as this. People, God, we have been called for such a time as this. Don't waste your time up on foolishness. Don't waste your time up being in fear, dread, and doubt. But I guarantee you that if you look closely, you will see that God has opened a window and given you a window whereby you can go through it and that you might be able to advance. Father, we thank you and magnify you, God, that you are our strength. You are our breath, God. And we give you glory and honor and praise that you called us, oh God, to be your instrument and called us to move. Amen, amen, amen. Thank God for you joining on tonight. Join us again on next Wednesday. There is strength in numbers. God has something to prophetically say to the body of Christ in this time. And it calls us to be used as an instrument to bring the world into the kingdom of God. Not us go out into the world, but for us to bring the world into the kingdom of God. God bless you and God keep you. Amen.